Hello and welcome everyone. I'm HatTopGaming and we are back with another indie game review. Today's episode is all about the card dealing, hell ascending, and mysterious past game and blackjack, a new deck building roguelike inspired by Alexis Slay the Spire, this time centering around the game of blackjack, aka 21. As someone who's very big on roguelikes and deck builders, it's always nice to see a new one come along and do something new that really stands out from the rest of the games out there. Also, while I don't wish to encourage anyone, as someone who does like gambling in real life, I'm willing to try any game that tries reinventing casino style games in the form of video games. It's always just fun to see how that plays out. As always, we'll be going over the same three things in story, gameplay, and performance before giving the game a rating out of 10. And don't forget to stick around till the end of the video for a sneak peek of my next review. Both out of the way, let's begin. Starting off with the story of Blackjack, it is slowly but surely revealed to us what has led to our main character being in this hell inspired by the likes of Greek mythology. Our goal, of course, is to escape. We do so by choosing how to build our deck from a combination of 8 possible ones and some special face cards. We set out to take on other souls in a game of blackjack. At the end of each stage, you will face a boss who is someone from your past who helped you get down there in the first place. They drop hints and lines about your history together, and in order to learn more, you have to beat them in blackjack. There are 3 levels you have to ascend through, facing 3 out of 4 possible bosses before reaching the end. If you have enough coin, the ferryman will take you on his boat to face the final boss, the person who put you there in the first place. Pardon me being a little vague about all this, but I do think a lot of what makes this game entertaining is its story. The way it slowly drip fed to you as you beat the bosses, and the reveal of them and how they interacted with you in your previous life all really do add to the attempt to escape that much more intriguing when you know that if you beat a boss, you unlock more history between the two characters. Overall, I really think the classic drip feeding of information does a really good job to add tension to each match, and then as you learn more about these characters, it does give you a little bit of sympathy for the main character while also just intriguing you to learn more. Moving on over to gameplay now, the game does a very good job of adding its own unique flair to the game of blackjack. The goal does not change. You and your opponent are both trying to get as close to 21 as possible. What makes this game unique, of course, is the cards and the possible abilities they have. When you start each run, you build your deck from a possible of 8 variants, all having their own unique abilities. Meanwhile, the cards themselves can be enlightened, can be given their own properties. You can also pick from unique face cards that have their own unique abilities as well. Once you create your deck, you choose from your own path towards the end of the level, like Slay the Spire, making stops along the way by choosing what to do next, from facing an enemy, getting free cards, entering shops, stops that allow you the ability to enlighten or burn cards, or fight enhanced enemies. It's all very standard stuff here. So what's the deal with the cards? How do they work? Well, it all depends on which deck ability you choose, from being able to light cards on fire, being able to absorb cards, and much more. Besides that, each numbered card can be enlightened to have their own specific ability, such as being able to discard the opposing card, switching it with yours. The card could count as having negative points, or it could absorb the other card to make yours worth even more. Maybe it forces the other player to add more coins to the pot. Maybe you get insight on what card comes next from either your deck or theirs. Really, all the card's abilities are useful, and each one can drastically change how the game goes depending on when it's drawn. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, well, that's great and all, but how do you actually win? Well, it's actually rather simple. At the start of each turn, both players put 2 coins into the winner's pot. Whoever loses that hand loses said coins, and the winner retains whatever they bet. And the two of you just keep going until someone is out of the coins and there's nothing left to collect but the winning pot. One of the abilities that cards or enemies can have is called exploit. Basically, it forces the opposing player to put more coins into the pot. And if you lose, you turn in all those extra coins that you were exploiting for. If you win, you get them all back. And there's no limit to how many coins can be exploited. Another way this can happen is by using extra card slots. Each time you face an opponent, you will have 5 available slots in which you can place your cards. 3 of them are free, and the other 2 require you to pay up in order to use them. But in turn, they also have their own ability that you can use when you place a card on them. It can vary from increasing the amount that the card is worth, it can force your opponent to play more coins, give you insight into their deck, and more. Or, don't tell anyone I told you this, but you can cheat and put a card or 2 in your sleeve. So maybe you have 14, you draw 10. Well, you can't put that down, you're going to bust. So you put it in your sleeve and you save yourself from busting. But of course, it comes with the price of coin. But once the card is in your sleeve, you can play it anytime afterwards. And say you're already filled up on sleeve cards. Well, so long as you can cough up the coin, you can discard the first sleeve card and just make room for another one. There's loads of mechanics and other niche gimmicks that make each run unique and equally frustrating as it's exciting to play. And also, just like in Slay the Spire and like-minded roguelikes, you get charms, trinkets, and whatever else you want to call them to find and earn after defeating bosses that act as consistent passive abilities, ranging from giving you extra coins at the start of each match, increasing the amount of cards you can sleeve, giving you special cards, and more. The game really is mechanically rich, and given it's based around a game like Blackjack, it already has loads of potential for great risk-reward gameplay. Lastly, to touch on performance real quick, I don't have too much to say. I was playing the game on my Xbox Roguelike X via Game Pass, but with the deck building roguelike performance is never really an issue. And I'm sure the game can run on just about fine on any hardware you're using. And for those of you who are wondering, the game is Steam Deck verified, and while I didn't get to try it on there, I'm sure it runs just fine. I didn't deal with any stuttering or freezing or crashing, no save issues, and truthfully nothing to report. The game just runs. Except for one bug that was pretty annoying. For some reason, every now and again when I would boot up the game, I would be forced to go through the tutorial mission again. Like it would just shut the game down and boot it back up and still be forced to sit there and listen to the rules being explained to me again and blah 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 blah. It really didn't affect anything. It was just annoying to have to deal with it every now and then because there was no way to skip it. I would even restart my console, close out the game. No, I just was forced to sit through it again and then just whatever, continue from there. So that was annoying, but besides that, no other bugs to report. So in the end, how do I land with blackjack it? Well, with games like this, I always think it's important to address the fact I didn't technically pay for it since I played it on Game Pass, but I can assure you I would definitely have zero complaints playing the normal $50 price tag the game has. Beat the game back on June 3rd, and given I'm uploading the video somewhere in mid-July, there has been balance updates and there are more still to plan. As the recording of this video, you can opt into the beta to try out some of the would-be changes. Now I bring that up of course because the difficulty of the game is going to be different when you're playing it now compared to when I was playing it. Meaning your experience may differ from mine, but I also think it directly ties into my two major complaints about the game. Number one is that this is the kind of game where you need to be ready to lose hard and often when you start playing. You get 3 starter packs of decks to choose from and nothing else. That is until you hit certain milestones which you can track your progress in the in-game menus, but until you clear those you'll have next to nothing and be at a severe disadvantage. As time goes on, you'll unlock new passive abilities that greatly improve your chances of winning. Now, while this does add a certain level of progression feeling to the game, once I caught on to it, it just made certain runs feel useless as I could tell I just wasn't going to have enough to actually win. So take that into consideration as you start. It sort of reminds me of Hades, where the game gets easier as you progress, but it still ultimately hinges on your ability to just get good at the game, of course. But that doesn't really apply to a game like this when it's all really RNG, so it can just make the experiences more frustrating. A second complaint is the bosses. Now, look, they're meant to be hard, and having to face them and their unique abilities they have is cool and serves to really stack the deck against you, so when you beat them, it feels great. But there are times where it really does feel like the game is just straight up cheating when they just keep drawing the exact card they need in that moment. Now, I'm sure we've all played a game where a boss does something out of the blue and we just groan and say, "What the fuck was that? Are you kidding me?" Or "Come on, dude, are you serious?" Or, something in that fashion. Unlike in a casino, though, where the dealer is supposed to stop at 17, your opponents can just keep going if they like. You see, you always go second, meaning the AI reacts to whatever your last move is. They react to whatever the card you put down is, including whatever ability they may hold, or say you stand on 20 and they have 17. They might just draw again, knowing they'll lose the hand if they don't. But when it comes to the bosses, it feels like they just do it on purpose because they know what's going to come next sometimes. They know because they know what their decks they have and their abilities that they can do, which can make you really feel like you're fighting against the game itself in a way that you cannot control. Oftentimes, of me feeling like I got cheated in the boss fights. I can't tell you how many times I would face Morgan and she would draw another card after I stood at 20 or something, and she'd either tie or beat me. Or the kid playing his train cards at the exact worst time, leading to my hand being completely blown up. Not to mention the fact they all have their own unique buffs and debuffs before starting the match against them. The footage you're seeing is gameplay that I recorded for this review, and this is post the updates. So I was actually able to see a little bit of what they changed, and they actually removed certain power-ups that cards had and replaced them with other things. Now, whether or not that's something for the better, I can't really say for sure as I only played the one round just for the sake of the footage. But I will say the game definitely did feel noticeably different with those changes in mind. All that to say, of course, again, is the fact that the game is going to play different now than it did just a few months ago. That being said, the game does have lots of mechanics that you can take full advantage of to really make it your own. It's just a matter of tinkering and unlocking them all. The game as a whole presented a really nice challenge and story that was far better than I expected. A nice consistent loop that felt fresh every time, and everything was explained and telegraphed really well. I was never confused about what something meant or the consequences of it. This is honestly one of the best games I've played this year, and if you have Game Pass, there's really no excuse not to play the game. The game being at the slight discount when on sale is well worth the price, as not only is there lots of replayability, but even if you're just like me and just make it to the end credits the first time around before putting the game down, it took me 8 hours and 42 minutes to beat the game, and I unlocked 21 of 42 achievements along that way. I give the game a very strong 9 out of 10, and I'd very much recommend that all of you go pick up the game today. Again, my biggest issues just come from some difficulty things, and it seems like most of that was tweaked, so some of my complaints might be a little outdated. But that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed today's indie game review. I hope I could shine some light on a game that I think really deserves some more eyes on it. If you have played the game already, let me know what you thought and the difficulty down below. If you haven't played it yet, did my video encourage or discourage you from picking it up? If you have any thoughts, comments, or concerns, let me know down in the comment section down below, and I'll make sure to get back to you. I'm HatTopGaming. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you all later. Peace.